Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, you are not all sick of my voice by this point, but it is I, Shadows. I am back here with my co-commentator here, Powerman, and we are here to welcome you all back to the first round of the Sly 3 Optimal Loot Tournament. We're getting down to the wire now. We only have, I think, 2 more matches left, including this one, so it's coming down, the bracket's coming together, but here with us today, as I said before, I've got my wonderful co-commentator, Powerman. If you would introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm here, and I had a birthday on Tuesday, if someone didn't know.
Well, puggers for that. And yes, so we are here welcoming you back to the second to last match of the tournament. And today we've got 2 great players with us. In the left corner, we have Mr. Jerem923. You want to introduce yourself?
Hey.
And aside from him, we have the GemsWithin.
Hello.
Alrighty. So yes, those are our runners today. Hopefully this will be yet another good match. Gentlemen, as you may or may not have seen yesterday, the intensity of those 2 matches might be pretty hard to top, but we shall see. Hopefully this will still be a good match. Best of luck to both of you, and may the best RNG win. So if both players are ready, which I believe both of you are, we can start the countdown and we can get this ball rolling. Are both of you good?
Yep. Yes.
All right.
I'm good.
Yeah, you've been sitting in the safe house for a while now, so good to figure that, but just wanted to be sure. Alrighty. Then on that note, once again, best of luck to both of you, and let's see a good race. And on that note, 3, 2, 1, let's roll. Alright, so let me refresh my screen here, because I think I'm slightly behind. Want to make sure I'm up to date. Apologies.
Oh yeah, you talk about those matches, but I unfortunately have missed most of them because I have been so busy with my other work try stuff and so on.
Real world stuff gets in the way. It's understandable. But yeah. So right off the bat here, we can see that both players picking Sly. No love for Murray in this group, Sag, but looks all right.
Where's the love for Bentley? Come on.
So Bentley
Our
or Mega lol
planes.
or Mega lol.
My
Some people
baby.
want to, yeah. Not everyone can do it for the fans' power, unfortunately.
My baby is done by using Bentley in EPs 1 to 4.
Well, it's a good PV at the very least, you know. At least you can say you're the only one who has Bentley, I guess. You can see right off the bat. So I guess initial observations, it looks like both of these two are doing pretty well with loot. Jerem looks like he has a little bit of a different file. He looks like he's on the earlier days, so he couldn't even use Murray if he wanted to. And something else noteworthy is that Jerem is actually playing on a PS2 emulator, which, to my knowledge, he's the first person in this tournament to use the PS2 version of the game, emulator or otherwise, which hopefully, for his sake, that won't mean too much in terms of load times, because the PS2 version obviously is slower, but he is on emulator, so hopefully that will kind of cancel itself out and he won't be too far behind.
And the gem seems to be using a lot of the speed movement attack, like boost boosting and feral bouncing.
Yeah, Gems. Both of these players honestly seem pretty comfortable with the gadgets. I haven't seen Jerem use like Feral Pounce a whole lot. I don't know if he understands that that's faster than running, but he is making pretty good use of the Shadow Power to sneak past guards, which is a good strategy. I used it briefly when I was using Sly in episode 5 in my first round match, and I've seen a bunch of other people make use of it. So yeah, and then Gems also, he's using it, as you can see there, with the Feral Pounce, and he's doing the faster method of it where you can stay invisible and pickpocket still.
Yeah, you do see that sometimes Gem doesn't even pick the loot because he kinda knows it's not the thing, so he skips it because he doesn't have the experience from running. So
Yeah, indeed. So, Power, I'm not sure if you're very aware of how experienced both of these players are. I unfortunately have not been in close contact with either of them, so with all due respect to their skill level, I'm not sure how much experience they both had, or if you do.
I mean, Gem does have those top times in episodes and any percent or slide 3.
Yeah, so according to our wonderful mod Knave, he's claiming that Gems is pretty experienced, which seems to be the agreed upon fact, while as Jerem's a little bit newer, which, nothing problem with that. We've seen skill gaps before, but that's the beautiful thing about this tournament is that it is not skill based. Obviously, movement and understanding of the game with GSM comes into play, but for the most part, it's still just whoever gets it first. And so far, I mean, about 3.5 minutes in already, haven't seen a loot yet, which is not surprising, honestly. But after seeing such good EP1s in the previous runs, it's a little bit of a mix-up to see how this normally goes for people. Yeah. Gems, meanwhile, you can see he's sticking to the avatar strategy of going faster rather than getting coins, because I'm pretty sure he saw that was a silver ring in that guard's pocket, and instead of taking the coins, he just opted to kill him to keep the pace up.
Yeah, meanwhile, Jerem is stealing another Silver's watch.
The silver watch, yeah. There's a healthy amount of different loots in this episode. I'm not quite exactly sure how rare the gold pen is. I do not believe it is more rare than like the the gold bar in episode 3, but it still feels heavily uncommon. I find that besides if it's not EP2 or EP3 that's usually giving me trouble, it's this one. I usually don't have much good luck here. The pen feels like it's very uncommon, especially compared to like the all the gold watches we've seen our runners get, the pens and everything else.
Yeah, gold ring.
Yeah. Chair getting another gold ring. It's not very uncommon to see runners get basically every other type of loot before they actually get the gold pen, especially not in this episode. And that's just unfortunately been the case so far. I think I've seen basically every loot type that's not bronze, because the guards can't have that, obviously, be obtained by these guys. Gems, you can see, getting another gold watch.
Oh, the tournament gets the winner gets money. Yeah.
Yes, that is the grand prize of this community. For those of you who are new to the tournament or who are new to the stakes, quote unquote, is that our lovely friend Dieter, he graciously wanted to give back to the community that has been so kind to him. So he is offering up a $100 cash prize for the winner of this tournament, while second place gets 50, and the two runner-ups in the final four will get a SlyGolds subscription for 1 month, courtesy of our lovely mod and tournament host Knave357. And I suppose I should have talked about this before we started branching off on other topics. But for those of you who are new here and do not understand the tournament, this is a optimal loot race, as you can probably tell by the title. The players are just trying to get the 5 optimal loots, as you can see below, and they can opt to skip an episode after 10 minutes, but of course they will then they will receive a 10-minute penalty to their final time. And if both players finish within 30 seconds of each other, we will have to go to a tiebreaker with loots and things, but we will talk about that once we get to that, if we get to that.
Yeah, and it actually is a 3-minute penalty, not 10-minute penalty.
Did I say 10 minutes?
Yes, you said.
Ah, that's my bad. Brain was thinking one thing and then something else came out of my mouth. It happens too often. Apologies, but yeah, 10-minute penalty would be pretty brutal. It's only a 3-minute penalty. My bad. Yeah, so, and as you can see here, coming up on the 7-minute mark now, both of these runners really haven't had great luck, and I'm interested to see now how these two are going to play it. I think we've seen a lot of people now, especially in the last rounds, if they didn't get the loot, they were going to skip pretty much instantly, but I'm curious to see now if more people are going to adopt that strategy, or if these two are going to be more determined to just get loot in more episodes. We'll see how it works out.
But if you want a minute penalty, go play ice hockey. No joke.
Yeah, jeez. Gems, meanwhile, I think I've seen him get like at least 3 silver pens, which is very unfortunate, because obviously it's just not the right one he's looking for. And they've people in chat saying Gems is going to instantly skip, which, with his, no offense to Jerem, but with Gems' skill level and like with his observation, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do that either. Especially how he seems to be playing for more speed and consistency instead of just going for loots. Coming up on the 8-minute mark now too, so it probably won't be long before we see someone skip, assuming the pen isn't found pretty soon. Gems, meanwhile, you can see making great use of the push boosts. Like, excellent job by Gems. It's very clean what he's doing. He's like, I don't think I've seen him miss one of these yet. Probably has, but you know, looking at one half the time, the other half the time.
Yeah, this seems to be very unlucky first loot. Like, so many cards looted and nope.
And yeah, this is what we were all saying, is that like episode 1, the worst episodes agreed upon by everyone thus far in the tournament seem to be 2 and 3, but depending on the luck, this one can also be pretty terrible. It's not like if you don't get the loot instantly, you're going to have a bad time, but most of the time, I don't know, it's not very common that you get the gold pen here. Usually, for those who do get the gold pen here, it ends up being huge later in the race, because it's very uncommon that both runners get the gold pen here. Especially considering we're coming up on this 10-minute threshold. That is like the 4th gold pen for Gems, SMH. So sad. So we will see what these two runners decide to do after the fact. Gems has gotten a lot of looted guards, he just hasn't gotten the luck he needs. There's another gold pen for Jerem. The gold pen, yeah, he found it. The gold ring for Jerem, excuse me.
Maybe Octavio forgot to give the gold pens to the guards.
Yeah, we're gonna get to episode 2 and we're gonna find that all the dingoes stole them. It's gonna be one of those races.
No, I mean Octavio's keeping all the gold pens by himself.
Then Gems, meanwhile, Chad appears to have made the correct prediction. Gems, with almost no hesitation, skipping to the next episode right at the 10-minute threshold. So it's pretty clear to see what his game plan is, and it looks like Jerem's about to do the same thing. Spend a few more seconds there, but he is also going to use the codes and skip ahead. So neither of our runners right now, dead even, neither unfortunately able to collect the gold pen. And it doesn't get any easier with this episode, unfortunately, due to the weird loot tiering system of this episode.
And the gimmick of EP2 is surprisingly that this flashlight card can also have bronze loot, but on the other hand, the other cards also can have the higher tier loot, the dingoes.
Yeah, and episode 2, as Powerman said, very unique in that regard, where not only can a smaller type of guard have the optimal loot, but this is also the only episode. There's the gold pen for Gems, by the way. So sad. But that's how we felt like it was going to go, and surely we weren't wrong. But as I was saying, yeah, episode 2 is very unique in this regard because both the smaller dingo guards, not the kangaroos, can have the optimal loot, which normally can't happen only in this episode. And also exclusive to this episode, the big flashlight guards can also have bronze loot, which is kind of bad because, obviously that's more loot types to find as opposed to the gold medal, which is the optimal loot.
Yes, Negolis capturing gold pen, but it came too late, so it doesn't count goals.
Yeah, unfortunately, that'd be kind of a cool thing if they could like find the optimal loot in a later episode and then it could like shrink the penalty down or something. I don't know. Throwing ideas out, but unfortunately, yeah, can't really get it in the next episode. Can't go
But,
back.
but I guess the later episode actually doesn't have these starter loots at all, so you can't really get all them in like EP5.
Yeah, that is also true. I think I don't even know how many optimal loots. Like, if you were to get all the optimal loots in one episode, if that was a challenge, how many of them could you get? I can't imagine there being more than 3 in the same episode. I don't know if anyone's tested that.
I'm not sure, but I feel like some loots actually disappear when you go forward, like those pens and rings maybe in the later episodes.
I mean, maybe.
Who knows?
And we can see here both of these players do kind of understand the. There's a bronze pen for Gems. That's very sad, is what we were talking about. But both of these players seem to have a fairly good grasp on where they should be, because I find that up here by the drills and up here where you go to Big Claw, that's typically where you get a lot of guards to spawn. So it looks like both of these players have at least done some practice in this regard, and they know where to go. So credit to our players in that regard.
And you also hear the fact that Jerem is using a France on the game language and Jem is using English, but it doesn't make a difference because there's no cutscenes in this run.
Yeah, language it's kind of cool. There's another gold pen for Gems, by the way. So sad, but yeah, that is a cool thing, is that you've been able to see people run the game in different languages, even though it's not super influential or influential at all, in fact, because no cutscenes. But it's just interesting to see people run the game in the different languages, like Finnish and in French, like you said, when no one has ever, seen that in a very optimal speedrun of Sly 3. So it's cool to see.
Yeah, going to unoptimal, I think my Slice 300 is kinda unoptimal because PAL version and English used in my run.
English, of course, is quite a bit slower. I'm not sure of the exact number in any percent, but I know it's quite a bit slower than the mix of Norwegian and Dutch that we use throughout Sly 3. And if you're using English on PAL, it's even slower than just using it on NTSC, because you can't do health and safety skip. So,
And the reason why I did it that way because I want to just complete the run and I know the gadget better in English.
yeah, Sly 3, whenever I get to it, I'll get to this game eventually. The hardest parts of running Sly 3 in different languages, of course, as opposed to like any of the games, is memorizing what all the gadget names are. But then in particular in this game, it might be a little bit harder to memorize dialogue in the talk of pirates. I'm not terribly certain if that's difficult or not, but I've heard that some people have had minor struggles with that.
guys bring it up that clearly 15 minutes in and no right loots. This is very unlucky, gotta say.
Yeah, we've seen the players make very good use of the reload code in this episode too. And Slink, that was the last match. Jeez, Shadow, keep the times. But yeah, Gems, on the other hand, is actually making very good use of the gadgets. You saw him there use the mix of the smoke bomb and the shadow power to try and get past that dingo. But unfortunately, just 15 minutes in, and neither of our players have really had good luck. So hopefully, we get some better results after this. But so far, it's just not looking great for either of these guys. Jerem there making some good use of the smoke bomb to help kill off that guard a little faster. Which it's cool to see the innovations of how to try and kill guards faster with Sly, because that's the whole draw to Murray, is that he kills guards faster. But then if you're a good Sly player, clearly, and you're good at managing your juice, these players are both showing that you can make it work, which is cool to see.
Yes, the choice is the thief meter for the gadgets we are talking about. It's a
Yeah,
nickname I get.
the yes, the yellow orange meter underneath Sly's health bar. Some people call it juice. Some people call it gadget meter. There are a few different names for it, but yeah, I think by force of habit I will refer to it as juice. So just for context.
Yeah, because Dimitri asked who got the choice, so
It's got the juice. Yeah, it's a character we won't be seeing until, well, not in this run, but we won't be going to his like episode of inhabitants until much later in the run.
I mean, imagine if the Panda King, Penelope, and Dimitri would be playable in all of the EPs and they could loot. Could they be actually good in this kind of category?
Gems you just saw there getting another gold pen, and it's almost like we were joking, folks, and we said like, oh, all the gold pens and the loots are going to be in the next episode. But man, oh man, this is just what happens sometimes, and it's not feeling good. But sorry, Tyler, what were you saying about Penelope? Like, if you could use Penelope or Guru in this challenge?
Yeah, and Panda King, like, if they would be like playable in all the EPs freely and they could loot, how useful they could be. Those other characters we use in this game. In some missions.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm not sure if they would have gone through the trouble of making it so every character could loot, but that would definitely be interesting. Like if you could bring maybe Panda King back to every episode for this challenge and like have his instant flame karate chop just kill enemies instantly, then that would be pretty cool. Maybe as like a strat, even though he's kind of slow, but just throwing ideas out there.
Yeah, but unfortunately they are only playable in some missions they are used. And
Yeah,
they
which
can't loot.
yeah. Well, I mean, as a casual player, I feel like it's not even a huge deal because like usually they're not great for moving around the hub worlds anyways. Like if Penelope was playable or if Guru was playable, like not being able to attack enemies straight up or just like I don't know, only being able to use like Penelope's RC vehicles, I don't know how fun they'd be to use in free play anyways, considering they're much shallower versions of the three basic characters you can play as anyways. And not like they have any gadgets or anything to boot.
So this is kind of off topic, but on Slack for Carmelita is on our side. You can get coins on Carmelita, but you cannot loot.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense since Carmelita in Sly 4, she's not a thief, so it kind of makes sense that she's the only one who can not loot. 'Cause it kind of just fits with her character archetype. Uh-oh. Gandhi has graced us with his presence in the chat, wishing Gems all the luck. See, maybe now we will see Gems pull ahead drastically just by the power of Gandhi. Hopefully not for Jerem's sake, but we'll see what happens.
But yeah, we're
Is that
also
an
getting close to the 20-minute mark, so are we gonna leave this episode also without a loot?
Yeah, I mean, based on that's the other thing too. I don't know if the runners are talking to each other in the Discord channel, but if they can hear each other, I wonder if that's playing into a part of how often they're deciding to skip. Because Gems, especially, like if neither of them get the loot, are we gonna see both of them just instantly skip two loots right off the bat? Because if they're both going into episode 3 with not having a single loot, this could get very interesting. And Gems there, you see, making actually pretty good use of a little like strat there where he runs in place in front of the guard to like get his attention and then jump behind him and pick his pocket. It's very interesting. don't think I've seen anyone do that so far.
Yeah, it seems like Gem did go to the menu and he's coming to EP3, I would assume.
And yeah, Gems sticking to his guns here as the 10-minute period winds down. He almost instantly skips the episode. So far, Jerem, unless he gets the loot pretty quickly, we might just see 2 episodes in a row where the runners just haven't gotten the loot. And unfortunately, this episode doesn't get much better on average because many people would agree that this, if not EP2, is the worst episode. But in my experience, I believe this is the worst episode. But Power, what is your experience with this one?
I did only 2 runs, and the first run was pretty awful. It took almost 5 hours. The second run was over 1 hour. And I did not get the loot in EP3 in 20 minutes, so maybe that's the worst. Maybe the EP4, no loot in 20 minutes. Oh, but Sam's got the large gold bar already.
Oh, there you go. Wow. So that's typically how it goes with episode 3 is if you don't get the loot pretty instantly, it ends up being pretty bad. But luckily for Gems, he gets a very, very optimal episode 3, and that, depending on how his luck in this episode goes, could put him very far ahead, especially if he gets lucky with these last 2 guards. So now Gems just got a free shortcut essentially to the last 2 episodes, which are significantly easier on average to find the loot in. Well, Jerem, if he has to spend another 10 minutes here, oh boy. See how it goes, but hopefully he can get ahead. Otherwise, Gems has just gotten a pretty significant advantage over Jerem. So we don't find the first optimal loot of the match until 22 minutes in, and surprisingly, it's in the episode that many people, as we saw, would argue is the worst in this challenge because the Ram Guards are the only ones who can have the gold bar, and usually it's pretty uncommon that they have it anyways, and they're half the time it feels like they never even have loot at all. So it's very shocking to see that that's the first one to produce loot this tournament, but that's how it is. Good little mix-up.
I'm not sure if we will have like leaderboard for this category. How will you actually rank it? Time or the loots for a world record?
Oh, for judging the time? Well, there's no official leaderboard category for this challenge, obviously, but if we're to incur the rule set in the most literal sense, like applying 3-minute penalties and all, then loots are honestly somewhat irrelevant. It's all just a matter of what the time is, and you can like subtract 3 minutes or like add 3 minutes to a final time based on like what you get with loots. But overall, it's kind of ironic how time is more important than loots, but that's just the way the rule set has been made.
Jerem died.
Yeah, Jerem, unfortunately, falling victim to those darn gunships, which can be very, very hard to dodge in episode 3. It's another reason why a lot of people claim it to be the worst, is just because they're so hard to avoid sometimes, especially when you're always dashing all over the place and you can't see them mixed with the guards' lights.
Yeah, I especially hate those spotlights in the map challenge, the treasure map. They always get me when now to do the steps.
I remember in practice, I certainly had a bit of trouble trying to stay away from those. I've definitely died in a few runs by those spotlights. Major pain.
Yeah, Gems is not having the same fast luck with the diamond.
Yeah, episode 4 is... The diamond is by far more common than the large gold bar, of course, and it's not very uncommon, but sometimes it's either like... I don't know, I feel like an average episode 4 is something around the range of like 6 to 7 minutes. At least that's what I've seen from this tournament. So far, he's still on pace for that, it looks like, because he hasn't really... hasn't gotten to the threshold yet. I believe he's only like a few minutes in. I can't see his exact split timer, but He's only been here since like I believe the 21-minute mark, maybe 22-minute mark. So he's not very far in. Then Jerem, you can see he's kind of, Avatar was briefly talking about it in his post-game interview yesterday, but you can see Jerem kind of taking advantage of the reload code and doing this whole circuit route that Avatar was talking about. Instead of jumping back and forth between the river, he's going in this straight line, finding these ram guards, and then going back to the safe house. It's a very interesting approach, but I actually think it could be very, very optimal.
Yeah. Not really sure what is the best strat.
It's certainly up for debate, but I personally think that with the way episode 3 is structured and with how it feels like a lot of episode 3 guards can sometimes just not have loot, it's certainly a very efficient way to go about it. And if I was more prone to use the reload codes or cheat codes in general in this category, I might try to route this in myself for my next match, especially considering I know Avatar will be using the same strategy. Yeah, Nave just summed the category up
Talking
right there.
about, I'm like, Allone run one of the games. Well, I'm gonna guess the Allone will run Sly 4. That's my guess.
I mean, hey, Sly 4, the best speed game out of all of them, Kappa. Except not Kappa, because, you know, I love running Sly 4. But, you know, whichever game he chooses. We need more Sly 4 runners, so I would totally appreciate it.
So this optimal loot, I also actually did run of it, this in Sly 4, because why not? And that took me around 30 minutes to get 6 loots of the 500 loots.
Oof. Yeah, sometimes the 500 loots in Sly 4, well, we'll see it when we do the Sly 4 one optimal loot tourney next year, Kappa, but, you know, the Sly 4, yeah. Oh, and there's the gold medal for Jerem, unfortunately, but yeah, the looting is obviously a little bit different in Sly 4 than this game, but
Diamond.
did he get stream's a little behind, but there you go, yeah. Gems picking up the diamonds. Now he's got 2 loots, and within, like, what was that, 7 minutes, 6 minutes, he gets 2 loots. Jerem, unfortunately, yet to find one, still in episode 3, and depending on how Gems gets EP5 luck, this could easily be over in a flash, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see how it goes.
So when going back to the Sly 4 topic, so I guess it's kind of easier because each episode only, and the progress of only 3 loots. Only those 3 in that one episode, so it gets to make it a bit easier, but still the 500 one can take a while to find, and every card can have it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure on the percentages of, like, looting in Sly 4. I would have to do more research into it to see the exact statistics, but you would think it's easier from a casual standpoint because there's only 3 loots, but who knows? I will not claim anything until I know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Gems here, unless Gems can one-up Rude for the worst episode 5 time of this tournament, he's looking pretty comfortable so far. Now, of course, obviously, for those of you who are new, Gems cannot actually skip episode 5 because the getting of the large diamond in this episode is the criteria for finishing a run, so he has to get the loot here. But even if it takes him a very long time, Jerem at this point, seeming to struggle with episode 3, might have to skip this one too, and if Jerem has to skip 3 episodes, Gems is looking extremely comfortable, because then he would have a massive cushion on top of already being 2 episodes ahead by this point in the run. That's, of course, assuming it comes to that. What happened to Rude in the last match was, of course, very uncommon, because episode 5 is widely agreed upon to be the easiest in terms of finding the large diamond, since it's technically not even the rarest loot.
Yeah, this episode also, I'm not sure if it really part of it, but you can also just go to your ship and go to the battles and try to get the last diamond there, because you also get loot when you attack the other ships.
Yeah, we haven't seen anyone do that in this tournament yet. I don't know if we will ever see that. It's kind of a weird strat and with how, I don't want to say super common the diamond is in this episode, but with your odds, I feel like it's way better to just do that than spend all the time fighting a ship and pray that the one you kill has the large diamond. Because then those theoretically might have equal odds to you just finding a guard with a large diamond here. Gems, meanwhile, I'm not sure if he saw this guy with a large diamond. I thought it was a medium one. It is.
Yeah.
So he just wanted to be sure there. It's better safe than sorry. If he had killed the guy with a large diamond, that would have been very sad. But you know, playing it safe there, especially considering he's already got this big of a lead, doesn't hurt to be a little safe. Jerem, meanwhile, if I check
There it
his,
is.
there it is, got the diamond. He got the diamonds, and that is the match, ladies and gentlemen.
Most likely.
Gems. Yeah, well, yeah, no, because the penalties will add up, and so that will be it in one of the more clean victories of this tournament. GemsWithin is your winner. He takes the match with 3 optimal loots, finishing in around 31 minutes, and Jerem is 6. Oh, Jerem is 6 minutes? Okay. So, not over yet, but Jerem, yeah, now Jerem skipping, and he's got people saying like 30 seconds. Yeah, not anymore. I believe
Yeah.
someone should go into the chat and tell him that the race is over. It's unfortunate, but I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him suffer through getting more optimal loots if, you know. Let him play? Alright, Nave is saying, my moderator / boss Nave is saying, let him play, so I will not say anything to him. I'm sure that if...
So you will say that the Gems end time is 31 minutes? No, it actually is. We had 6 minutes, so it's around 37? Actually, or 38.
Oh yeah, with the penalties, yeah, of course. His final time was 30, I believe it was like 30, it was a high 30-50, or it was 31 something, but either way it's gonna be bumped up a bit by those penalties. So 37-ish minutes for Gems, which, if I'm correct, is still actually, I think, one of the better runs we've seen in this tournament, outside of a few very optimal matches that we had last time. But overall, not a very bad run considering he had to skip the first 2 loots. And Jerem, all things considered, he's done what he's could, but of course, just the fact that he got screwed on the first 3 episodes really just didn't go his way. So that's the way it is sometimes. But just cards didn't fall his way today. But I feel like he still played very well, made very good use of the gadgets and the reload codes. So props to Jerem by all means. I think he's played very well. Just this is the way the tournament goes, and it didn't exactly work out for him this time around, unfortunately.
So if it's Jerem the first runner who doesn't get the right loot in 3 episodes in a row. Or did someone else also got this that he just can't get those loots?
Yeah, Jerem just still not getting very good luck, unfortunately. Yeah, it's Lola said it before, but it's just very unfortunate to see one person have to do this. And I believe I'm not sure if Jerem is conceding. Yes, he is. Okay. So Jerem is going to stop there, and we are going to officially have the match there. That I do believe that is a forfeit. I do not think he is continuing. He's not going to spend the time. So final time being 33:40, and welcome back to the chat, runners. Congratulations to both of you on a well-played match. And GemsWithin, we will start with you. Congratulations, first off, on moving to the second round. How do you feel?
Thank you, first of all. I feel relieved. After I skipped the first 2 episodes, I thought I had no chance, honestly, but this just goes to show you that anything can happen. Big GG to my man Jerem. It was fun. Well played. Yeah, man.
Yeah, all right. And then on that note, so Jerem, I feel bad that, we were saying that you played very well, because the chat was saying like you seemingly have less experience with Slytherin, but you seem to have done pretty well. You were using the cheat codes very well, the rocket boots, the invis, which I liked your use of, and even I think I saw you do a few push boosts. It's just that's the way this tournament goes sometimes, and it didn't really work out for you today. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was so unlucky, but it's the game.
Yeah. Well, all right though. So once again, gentlemen, thank you both so much for playing. It was a joy to be commentating this match, as well as to my wonderful partner Powerman and all the people supporting SlyGolds who were here. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the round. Gems Within will go on to play, I believe, the winner of the next match, that being between my wonderful co-commentator Powerman and fellow Sly 3 runner Bacon Man. So we will be back, I believe, tomorrow actually for that match. I will not be on comms, but we will see you guys then. Once again, thank you all of you for showing up. Thank you to the runners for being here. I loved seeing both of you run and both of you be skilled. Good luck to Powerman in this future match. And as always, thank you to the beautiful people for being here, and I hope you enjoyed yourselves. And until next time, take care, everyone.
Yeah, bye.